Welcome everyone to Soulfield Sunday. I'm gonna invite you. I invited the people who were on the call a little early to just kind of take a minute as you're coming in, as you're getting settled, and just notice what you're bringing with you. Notice what your sort of state of being is mentally, emotionally, physically. Note if there's anything that's feeling particularly luscious. Note if there's anything feeling particularly challenging. And then as you're noticing that, just start to really enter in with intention into the field of soul, into the soul field, and register that all of you is welcome here. All the parts are welcome here. And I'm going to begin by lighting our candle. If you have a candle, I invite you to light your candle. In the lighting of our candles, we're acknowledging the truth that we are made of light, that we are first and foremost beings of light, that the whole of our physical structure is organized by a being, a body of light, and that we are interconnected in this space, and that we are claiming this as sacred. We are entering into transformational space together. And so we take a moment as we come in. We bring the awareness to that space about a foot above the top of our head, to the portal that leads to the temple of divine perfection, our energy recycling center in this multiverse that we live in. And feel that opening, and just with intention, letting go of anything that's not serving, anything that you're not needing to carry with you, anything that's complete. And importantly, anything that's actually not yours. As beacons of light, when we move through the world, sometimes people see our light and they go, oh, this person must know what to do with this difficult energy, and they sort of lay it at our feet. And so this gift of the portal is an opportunity to just offer that back. Hmm. And feeling as you're doing that, a deepening connection to your own breath, a deepening connection to the body temple through the breath. This sense of coming fully into the now moment. We're letting go of everything that came before this time that we have together in the eternal now. And with intention, we're letting go of everything that will come after now. We do this because when we enter into transformational space, if we allow ourselves to be in the sacred now, then the transformation ripples backwards and forwards in time. But if we're anchored over there about what we're going to be next, or what we were before, or what we did before, or what we're going to do next, then we're sort of anchoring those things as more solid. So we come right here, and right here is where we have the power. And so we'll begin with our prayer. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Con corazones abiertos, reverentes y llenos de gratitud, venimos a beber del profundo pozo de nuestra naturaleza eterna. Al sumergirnos juntos en el campo del alma, somos envueltos en un abrazo sagrado por la fuente de todo amor, luz y gracia divina. En este ahora eterno, invocamos nuestros caminos hacia el Creador y hacia los seres de amor, luz, que apoyan nuestra evolución divina. Permitimos que nuestro cuerpo, alma y espíritu se expandan hacia los reinos sagrados donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. A medida que nos amamos a nosotros mismos, así amamos al prójimo y a toda nuestra familia humana, reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada. Permitamos que todo lo que se haga aquí hoy repercute en nuestras vidas como un testimonio vivo de la gracia divina para el beneficio de todos.
And we have Jade with us today as our sacred temple tender. Thank you so much. You'll be hearing her as we move through our time together. So, we are continuing our series. This is the third of our series on sacred trust. And today we're going to take a dive into disillusionment and specifically spiritual disillusionment and what it is. How do we know that that's happened? How do we honor it? And how do we tend it when we have that kind of disillusionment? And so we'll dive into that and kind of explore a little bit, and we'll do some transformational work together to support coming back into a place of greater resting and communion. We will do our affirmations for this series. And as always, when we're doing our affirmations, we can thump right here, tap on the sternum bone. Underneath here is the thymus, which is a master gland. When we tap here, it's a way of sort of talking to the whole biospiritual system. Or we can rub the earlobes. And as we rub around the earlobes, we're activating the flows of energy through the acupuncture meridians in the body. And so this is a way when we do the affirmations like this that we are embodying. And so I invite you as you say these words, I'll call and Yare will lead you in the response. As we say these words, let yourself feel it, let yourself attune, let it get into your body, let yourself be changed. And so here we go. I am a divine creation.
I am a divine creation.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace, always, in all ways.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I amplify their grace.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
I am a divine creation.
I am a divine creation.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
I am a divine creation.
I am a divine creation.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I love who I am and revere my unique path.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I joyfully experience the divine embrace always, in all ways.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
I deepen into sacred trust every day.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
Remembering all things are divinely imbued, I actively amplify their grace.
Mm. Can you feel that you're vibrating differently? Yeah. So, like other relationships, our relationship with the divine can get challenged, and we can have experiences of disillusionment. And let's see, before I go there, let's just talk a little bit about what disillusionment means. When we're talking about disillusionment, we're talking about the experience of having our beliefs or ideas about how things are get challenged by how things show up, how life gives it to us. That we like literally we can't reconcile in our minds and our hearts. Like, well, I thought this, and now this. And this is the experience where we have an expectation, a desire, a sense that life is going to happen a certain way, or this experience will be a certain way, or if I this, then that, and if I show up like that, then this one will show up like that. And then when it doesn't happen, we have the experience of our illusions being in some way shattered. Right? This is disillusionment. And it's a normal part of soul life. It's a normal part of soul life, just like it's a normal part of all the rest of our lives, right? Spiritual disillusionment happens, and then when we tend it properly, not only does it no longer block our experience of trust, but it strengthens it. It strengthens our sacred connection. And so, what is needed in those moments is that we really acknowledge that it's happened, right? That we're mad or upset or don't understand or profoundly in shock about whatever. And that there's a part of us that's like, I thought if I, filled in the blank, I meditate every day, I did my prayers, I come to Soulfield, and like this happened anyway, like that kind of experience that we acknowledge like I'm feeling disillusioned, I'm feeling upset, and that we actually honor and we tend the little disillusionments and the big disillusionments, right? So when we're having the experience that we're describing where our beliefs in life don't match, or our ideas about how things should go or will go, or how someone, in this case the divine, should behave, and they're not, when we have that experience, sometimes it's so shocking to our system that it actually is traumatic. And when we have those experiences of shock that are kind of solidified by trauma, we can actually lose parts of ourself and lose parts of our connection, not realizing that we've literally sort of gone offline, and that our soul light is no longer plugged in the same way. This happens when we have a disillusionment that's big, that really shocks us. And when that happens, sometimes we intentionally close ourselves off from our sacred connection. Sometimes we unintentionally close ourselves off, but usually it's a rift. It's sort of like in any relationship where if something has happened and we don't bring it to the relationship and we don't hold it as sacred, then there's just a little bit, we just get a little farther away, and there's like a little distance between us and whomever that is, and then a little more and a little more. And this can happen for us spiritually and life as things happen that challenge our sense of sacred trust. Right? Some of you know that every year from October 1st to October 8th, I have a personal Holy Week. And this Holy Week grew out of that particular week in 1999, which was the final week of my father's life. And it was by far the most excruciatingly painful week of my life, and also the most exquisitely sacred. It was sort of dappled with what I would call miracles, what someone else might just call beauty, but it sort of was this experience where you don't have to have faith, you just know that there is divine. It's felt, it's known. And so I honor that week because it's a week that amplified sacred trust. And it's a week where some really, really horrible, hard things happened. And so it's this sort of paradoxical moment in my life. And I honor it every year because this is what happens. You know, when we have these places, if we allow grace in, if we call it in, these are the places that strengthen us even more. And have a story to tell you. Was leaving this year for part of my Holy Week. I went to my friend's farm in Kentucky, and we had just some beautiful time together. And on the way home, she lives sort of out, and so I had an Uber driver come pick me up, and it was assigned like a week ahead of time, and then the morning of it changed to someone else, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. I hope everything's okay. And this person shows up, this man, Daryl, in his late 70s, and he's got a handicap placard on his car, but I don't know what that's about. And I strike up a conversation with him as I would with anyone who's doing the blessing of driving me somewhere. And we end up having the most sacred conversation on this hour ride to the airport. And it turns out, like my father, he was a Vietnam War vet. And I got to have this experience with him of sort of feeling the grace and feeling a thread of my father there. And what was incredible is we started having this very deep spiritual conversation. And in the conversation, he told me that he had gone over to Vietnam. He was Christian, and he'd gone over as this young, very, very prayerful Christian boy. He said, I got on my knees every day and prayed. And he said, and then in the middle of one really horrible experience of literally, and I won't go into the gory details, but literally, picking up the parts of his comrades, he was in such horror and such shock. And he said to me, he goes, I denounced God. I said, there can't be a God. He said, there can't be a God that would allow this to happen. And he said, and so from that time forward, for a couple of years in the war, I got savage and I was just disconnected. And then he said, I was on the way up this hill and I was about to get to the top of the hill and it was heavy combat. And he said, literally in front of me was a vision. It was like there was a TV screen showed up in front of me. And I saw that to the left, there was what he said I would call hell, fire and awful things. And to the right, there was grace. And so he said, when I got to the top of the hill, I went to the right. And he said, as a result of that, my life was saved. And he sort of got teary and I got teary. He said, I got called back, I got called back into connection. And he said, and I'm alive here driving this car, I know, because of that, because of that moment of grace in the biggest horror that it could possibly be. And he went on to tell me that he's now in the process of touring with a woman who wrote a book The book I think is called Under His Wing, and I can't remember the name of the author right now. But she interviewed soldiers from various different wars who had stories of visions and feeling the divine come to them, and that they knew something or were able to avoid something or felt a healing, you know. And he and I went on to talk, and I told him that my father had lots of nightmares and very difficult relationship with alcohol as a result of the war. And he said, "Oh, I did that too." And he went on to share these details of his life and what I saw again and again. And we laughed and we cried together. Is that this is how our relationship is to the sacred? Maybe not as dramatic as the Vietnam War. Blessings on that for most of us who don't have that experience directly. Some of us indirectly, like myself and my brother. But that life brings things to us that we sometimes can't possibly figure out in our minds, that break our hearts. Like life sometimes breaks our heart. It does. And ours is to find a way to reconnect in the breaking. Right? I want you to take a minute, and we're going to go on pause on for those who are here live, those who are watching in the eternal now via recording. I want you to just think about, like, where are places in your life where you have lost faith or felt abandoned by source, God, goddess, love. And just as you remember or notice those places, and for some of you, they may be right on the surface, and for some of you, you may have to go digging a little bit. But just ask yourself, have I fully come back into my sacred connection? Or is there a part of me still renouncing or holding back or pulling away? And so coming back from our chat and just wanting to reiterate something that we spoke about together, those who are live with us, around how critical it is for us to actually in order to come into right relationship with ourselves, in order to find our way back, that our pain and our confusion and our upset and our even like our anger and our all the disillusionment, it needs to have a place. And certainly one of those places is in our sacred connection, that we literally come into relationship and our pain and all of it becomes like the offering, what I bring, you know. Imagine that we are wired. It's not imagine, we are wired for transcendent connection. It's literally part of our biospiritual system. We have this beautiful research coming out that says that for sure, but it's something that those of you who are here already know. But that connection is a relationship. And if we feel the disconnection, we have to bring ourselves to the relationship. And we can't just pretend we don't feel all that pain. We have to actually bring the pain to the relationship. How could this be? How could this be? I don't understand. I'm hurting so much. I don't know how to do this. We name the doubt, we name the disconnect, we name the rage, like you would in relationship with another person. Right? You call it. and you let yourself be with it. You honor it. Of course, I feel this way. This hard thing happened, or these 50 hard things happened, or this hard thing keeps happening and I don't understand why. And I don't know how to get myself back. Right? This is part of what happens when those moments happen. It's like a rip occurs when we have those disillusionment moments. And we literally aren't all here. And so it's very hard to move through life when all of our vibrancy and vitality isn't here. So when we come into that sacred relationship, and I'm going to put these little questions, these little prayers I'm going to speak, I'm going to put them in the chat real quick. We can very specifically speak a prayer like, let me see what's mine to see. I don't understand. Show me. Help me, guide me, find my way back into trust, back into harmony. Show me how to heal this pain, right? And this question, like, show me how to heal this pain, maybe it's like we get a message to call someone. It was mentioned when we were in our group chat that like it really matters who we do or don't connect with when we're having those moments of disillusionment. So critical that we connect with our spiritual community. Um, Help me stay open to you, to the sacred unfolding, even though or even when I want to cut off, right? That's such an important prayer. Help me stay open because I want to like run away right now. I want to reject you. I want to reject this, right? Here in the soul field, we understand that all of life is part of the sacred unfolding. And so when we have those painful things, we want to reject them. I don't like this. I don't want it to be happening, right? So help me stay open to the beauty that's trying to unfold. Bring me what I need to stay connected in this terror, this pain, this whatever. Teach me how to be with this. Help me become someone who walks with grace in this. And these are anchors back. These are our anchors back. And they're yearnings, and those yearnings call the grace to us. Maybe not in that exact moment, but it unfolds. And so you can pick one of these that resonates right now for where you know you have disillusionment, or two of them, and let it be your prayer. Find yourself in connection wherever you connect, perhaps in nature, perhaps in a church or a synagogue, perhaps here in Soulfield, and speak your prayers. Show me, guide me, help me, teach me. Because in the disillusionment, our impulse is to cut off. And that doesn't lead us anywhere helpful, usually. And sometimes we can't help it. I've had several experiences in life where I felt for months, sometimes years, not quite myself, not quite plugged in. It happens. It's a normal part of our life. And in those moments, we're being stretched, we're being grown, we're being expanded. And retrospectively, I know you can each look back on a time where you had a disillusionment and see, like, oh, that was actually bringing me into greater harmony. That was actually helping me grow or expand in some way. So I have this big thing for us in our transformation today. And I'm tracking that, like, oh, we've been talking a while. And I'm really glad we have. I'm glad we took that lovely time together. Um, but we're going to kind of dive in. And what I was going to have us do, and I still am going to have us do, but I'm not going to go into detail about it. So if you have not, I can see that most of you are here, we're at that first call on this series. We're going to call in a sacred geometric light emanation midway through the meditation, which is the meditation we called in the first time that we did this particular series. And we're going to call this in because this is about restoring the experience of our sacred trust. And so it's so good for all those places of disillusionment. So but we're also going to work with our energy body, with our light body, to bring presence and awareness and energy to certain places. We're going to work with a flame that's going to move in the body in a certain way. And I'm going to direct you in all of that. And so you'll just sort of let yourself follow. And we're going to bring the places of disillusionment that we've been bubbling up to the surface, even if we feel like, oh, I'm all good with that. If it bubbled into the space, there's something still there. So we're going to bring that into meditation with us. And so I'm going to invite you to just let the gaze be internal for now. And as the gaze becomes internal, just take a little inventory. Notice your body, how it's feeling, where it feels particularly good or a little agitated or a lot, where there's tension, where there's softness. And notice that those places of tension are probably connected to the places of disillusionment and disconnect. No need to change it, just notice. Notice if any emotions are present. Notice how the mental field feels. And then bring your focus, all of your presence and awareness to the breath. And make the very subtle but extremely profound shift from taking a breath to receiving the divine breath of life as it flows to you. There's divine inspiration coming to you. And you pause and you wait for it. And when it comes, you open and you receive it fully. And when the breath is complete, you offer it back. And you begin to register sacred trust in the flow of breath, that it will rise and fall like waves in the ocean. It flows to you, it's yours to receive. And when it's complete, it flows out of you, yours to give. And just feeling that communion, sacred presence, in the simplicity of breath, drawing in the divine inspiration. Breathing out the disillusionment. Bring your awareness and your presence to the physical heart now. Noticing, feeling that the heart is beating. And noticing that it was beating before you brought your awareness to it. And it will beat afterward as well. Notice you can trust that your heart will rhythmically calibrate the very flow of life, of breath through your being. And even beyond the physical. And you feel yourself opening. You may actually feel some tension. We're going to work with the head. And so, those of you who are deeply in the field may be already feeling some tension there in and around the temples and the front and the back of the third eye. But for now, you just bring your awareness there. Nothing to change, just notice. We're going to invoke the flame of infinite knowledge and brilliance, which is this beautiful sort of like fire sunset colors, hot pink, golden, orange, beautiful. And so we call forth the flame of infinite knowledge and brilliance. And we ask for each of us that it comes from the left and flows into the left temple and straight through the head. It flows out the right temple and it moves out the right and moves around to the back of the head, that same level at the third eye, and moves into the head there at the back of the third eye and moves straight forward and comes out the front of the third eye and then wraps around and back into the left temple. And as it flows into the left temple, it comes out the right again. This time it comes around the front and flows into the front of the third eye and goes out the back of the third eye and comes around and flows into the left temple again. And this flame will just continue this pathway. You don't have to trace it or track it. Cleansing the mental stuckness and confusion that is almost always a key part of our spiritual disillusionment. And you just allow that flame to minister to you. And you bring awareness to the top of the head, to the crown center. In the spiritual anatomy of our crown, we have an aspect of the crown on the right and an aspect of the crown on the left that are very much connected to our opening and our closing, and especially in spiritual disillusionment. On the right side of the crown, sometimes it even feels a little painful there when you bring awareness. This is the place where we actively shut down connection. And so if it feels right for you, bring your breath there. Bring the deepest intention of your heart there. and invite yourself to actively open the right aspect of the crown center. When you do, you'll probably feel some goodness, some release of tension, some flow of light. And it might spontaneously bring you into the awareness of the left side of the crown. On the left side of the crown, it's not the same as the right, where it's like where we've actively closed, but it's the place where we haven't actively opened. And so on the left, we really intend to actively open, actively opening the left. And the whole of the crown will start to come more fully online. You will feel it, it's visceral. Perhaps there's tingles, but you can feel the whole crown center opening with your intention. And you allow yourself to receive even more grace, even more soul light there. And you may feel that as more space is made, the head or neck want to adjust, and you can let that happen. You can bring breath. And you can feel yourself dropping your awareness down into the heart, down into the low belly, letting that crown light permeate the physical body. And as your body is receiving the light, the soul light of your crown, the connection, the beauty, feel yourself resting in this grace place. While you're resting, I'll play our song for this series.
free will, moving hard, free will, fall apart and thrive, animal and present. We let down wild cry. Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright? Oh, ecstasy and praise, free, joy, fear, all are welcome in this circle. Cast a hold, our being here. This is our dance. It's prayer in action. These are the words I need not say. Inner compass, inner map, here to guide me on my way. And I know it's alright. Everything is alright. All of it is alright. Every bit is alright. Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright? Body is my paintbrush in this human land. Give it up, let fly, bringing blessed trance, counting feet and heartbeat, feathery winged hair. Oh, ain't it good to know that it's alright? I can hear them speaking the language my blood speaks, the rhythm in me calling to our family. We enliven them by dancing on our prayers they feed. Ah, ain't it good to know that it's alright?
Mm. So as you're finding your way back, we will formally close our circle. For those of you who are here and want to stay on a little bit and connect about your experience in the meditation, I'll invite you to do that. For all of us, those in the eternal now and those of us who are here together live, it's my guidance as we started the meditation to actually not call in the geometry from our first of this series, but to invite you to do that for homework. So you'll go back to that recording on the YouTube channel. It's the first one called Sacred Trust, Walking the Path of Grace. And that, maybe 30 minutes in, 25 minutes in, somewhere you can kind of fast forward if you don't want to receive the whole transmission again and just go to the invocation of the geometry. I want to invite you to do that for homework. I'm going to. It's just this sense that we need another dose of that to just keep helping us because this piece about sacred trust, if there's one thing that you can have on your spiritual journey to walk through life that will carry you over every and any bump, it's this. This is the space. This is the thing. So, with that, um, we are going to have our brief announcements. And yeah,
Um, as
yes.
always, we're so grateful that you had chosen to spend a bit of your precious life to be in sacred presence with us in the soul field. If you like more information, transformational support, links to our YouTube video collections, to have Soulfield events to populate on your calendar, or to share Soulfield with like-minded beings, you can go to soulfield.org. That's SOULFIELD.org. We deeply appreciate your donations and tithings. Without your generosity, Soulfield will simply not be possible. Deep bows to those of you who continue to make Soulfield a regular part of your spiritual gift giving. We're thrilled to have many of you join us in the Eternal Now via recording. Please remember to like and comment on our videos and follow our YouTube channel. Thank you in advance for helping others find us. Our next live meditation is Wednesday, October 15th at 5:10 p.m. And our next Soulfield experience is Sunday, October 26th at 11 a.m. They're both Pacific time via Zoom. And for those of you joining us live, links are in the chat thread. And thank you.
Thank you, Dade. Okay, beloveds, we are officially say our closing prayer and say goodbye for now. We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and our blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Estamos profundamente agradecidos de haber vivenciado esta comunión de nuestros seres sagrados en el campo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos la elevación del sacramento de cada uno de nosotros y de nuestra bendecida luz del alma. Al culminar esta congregación, cada uno de nosotros, de manera propia, continuaremos conviviendo en el campo del alma y apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, agradecemos el uno al otro y a nuestros ancestros, ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que cuando nos amamos a nosotros mismos, amamos y elevamos al prójimo, alentando la magia que acabamos de concrear para que se expanda a nuestras comunidades, de manera que todos los seres se beneficien.
Till we meet again, you are all in my prayer field, loving you all so much.